Hello, I am Mudiwa Ngum, and this is N24 News Hour from our studio in Bakau, The Gambia. Coming up, the Gambia government says it evacuated 32 Gambians from Ukraine amid tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Last days in office are hard days for one leaving, but what do National Assembly members make of Halifa Saleh leaving the National Assembly? In sports, former world number one Novak Djokovic has split with his coach Marian Vajda for the second time. On the international front, dozens of Kenyans, Zimbabwe students leave Ukraine in the ongoing Russia invasion. These and more to feature in our today's bulletin. Stay tuned. And we start today's bulletin with this. Last days of anyone in office are usually difficult times for the one leaving, likewise the ones who got attached to them. The National Assembly had its fifth legislative session, which was the last session of the Serekunda NAM. Our reporter Sukay Jarjasi attended the sitting and filed in this report that looks at who Halifa Saleh is.
On the last National Assembly legislative session, which also marked as the last sitting for the Serekunda NAM, National Assembly members thanked the Honorable Member of Serekunda, Halifa Saleh, as he wished to retire after years of serving his nation. The NAM for Basse Honorable Mohamed Magasi, who also will leave the parliament for not being chosen to represent his constituency in the upcoming parliamentary elections, mentions that Halifa is a great asset to the nation.
Halifa is an asset. Halifa is a city of knowledge or a fountain of knowledge. Halifa is many things to Gambian people, especially with young people. Retiring voluntarily is good. It beautifies his legacy. It beautifies his personality. It beautifies his stand as a Democrat. I appreciate it. But I know one thing, that the parliament is going to lose a library. The parliament is going to lose an asset. A parliament is going to lose the pointer of the way to follow. Simply because there is somebody who have respected the laws of this country. There is somebody whose actions are always guided by the rules, the principles, the regulations, and the laws of this country. There is somebody who guides you based on the laws and the principles and the regulations and orders of this country. So therefore, the guidance that he has given to this parliament, the direction that he has power for this parliament to flow, the trajectory of his actions are going to be missed.
Described as an asset of the nation, many admire his capabilities. Saleh, who will be remembered in his fight for seeing Jammeh's 22-year rule end, will no more be seen in the National Assembly. Here is Latrikuna Sabiji's NAM on Halifa Saleh as a colleague.
Saleh is unless if you work with him. I work with him for these past 5 years. We are in the same committee, that is a public enterprise committee, and then also in the chambers. Halifa is somebody who will definitely scrutinize issues, and he will advise based on his experience. He will advise based on what will move this country forward. Halifa is somebody who will never be will never be moved by the social media or whatsoever. He do as it is, and he sees as it is. So this is the reason why, regardless of the party affiliation or whatsoever, I decided to put on this t-shirt to show my respect, to show what Halifa Saleh did for us in this fifth legislature. This is the reason why I put on this shirt, at least to say a thank you to Honorable Halifa Saleh.
The NAM for Banjul Central has this to say when asked about Mr. Saleh.
For me, I learned a lot from him. I got a lot of experience from him. I have been, sometimes even when they're doing, I'm not part of the PEC committee, but when they are doing their committee meetings or their committee proceedings, I do go there to see how he do the proceedings, because he's the chair of the PEC committee. So I learn a lot from him, and in his deliberations to in debates, in different types of debate. I learn a lot from him. So he's someone who have worked hard for his country, and he has always see Gambia first before anything.
Halifa Saleh, born in 1953, co-founder of DOI, began his parliamentary work around 2002 as a minority leader. His legacy will live on as one who is widely respected and appreciated by Gambians, but he is now colonialized with a clout of no parliamentary participation. Sukaija, you see, N24 News.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad announced that 32 Gambians have been successfully evacuated from conflict-stricken Ukraine. A statement from the ministry revealed that out of the 32, 22 are in Poland, 8 in Slovakia, 1 in Romania with his Ukrainian wife and child, and 1 in Budapest, Hungary. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also gave the following update on the matter. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs further wishes to inform families of the evacuated Gambians and the public that government will facilitate the return of the evacuated Gambians home. This information has been communicated to all concerned. However, the decision to return to the Gambia or make alternative arrangements is an individual entitlement which shall be respected by the Embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Land disputes in the Gambia continue to grow and seemingly will not be stopping anytime soon, as the people of Bussorah are fighting over one with neighboring village Talokoto. They held a press briefing to inform the press of the latest developments, as they say the presser is to promote peace. Our reporter Alimatu Chuf attended it and she filed in this report.
Busura has been facing a land dispute with its neighboring village Talokoto, where the alcalde of the village Olimoto Koli claimed to own a land in Busura, but the villagers in Busura said she doesn't. The tussle and fight of who owns the land continues, as the people of Busura said she should desist from it. At a press conference held at Busura village, Aliu Efei, alcalde of the Busura, reveals that the purpose of the conference is to call for peace. He stated that they wrote a comprehensive report and took it to the government, where the government constitutes the Kadi court.
Karanga petition, that same petition in Pambay, late Pambay, Almani man Kamatrai, Ndolongo later in Samba, in 2017. Samba, Minister of Local Governments and Lands, Diala. Mbeye, Koveta kan han kabe ñun be je wafikan bay ka wafi ñamintula na kiskisrodo ngaje ko ka ko do ci ñu mol bul adi mo mo le ka fa na develop da sañi pour la savance kay to dila nga mo je me ya lon ko ayo kon famun tele ando a me ci ati je jama be mo security lati.
Faye also said that the law gave the land to them to show that they are on the right side. A letter was written twice for Tolokoto to vacate, but they refused, he added.
Ngasamba Sheriff Department, Sheriff of the Gambia, High Court. Kana ngasamba Sheriff ya ufanang Operation Commander Safe Police, Inspector General Aya Safe for an escort for these people to vacate. Pour vacate, wala mo yung letter on the 13th of September 2021. I yes afe wala minti. So kara bodo mbije ko teke han kabi kol manta koma fo nyaato dron ñun man shi e be jeddi develop la instant dossier do fa nim police la fon tata je ngkoy ko ñu la injonction le bije bar mol be jeddo ku kanne andu na molu ni nga silo bule bulu fitno be kalale de anu man la fi kelola lafta banko e tenkum.
The villagers therefore urged the government to intervene in helping settle the matter. Jaju added that the government should give a security or physical planning.
Muna execute mandate. Why bu ñu jox security mo ne government nguur gi def lu ñu wara def because yow bo demé be nga até nguur mako até bo até be paré ku nga xamé mom place am mënta jot place am amna lu fa nekkal mo xamé ne mom def ko ko lool ñu ko def nguur gi mo wara jëlé dem génné loolu fofu pour ñun ñu mëna jot suñu empty land because lu fa nekkal ñun defuñu ko fa té légui nguur gi lu ñu wara def moy né ñu joxé security pour fiscal planning mëna dem def sen liggéey.
The community forest is 68 hectares and the disputed land is approximately 58 hectares. Buzira village was founded by Sirin Badara Faye in 1960. For N24 News, I am Alimatu Diouf.
Nuru Sabah al-Islamiyah, an Islamic school in Mayamba village in the Lower Nyomi district, North Bank region, through its board, calls on the public to come to their aid in the refurbishing of the village's only Islamic and Quranic learning school to a Quran memorization center. This comes after our reporter Alamin Kijera visited the school and filed in this report.
Nur Sabal Islamiyah, established in 2009 with the aim of teaching and counseling religious matters in children, struggles to stand on its feet since it got affected by the rain last year. The school, known for its religious teaching, got affected last year, which brought down 2 of its classrooms to the ground and leaving children using only 1 of its classrooms to learn. Al-Hassan Ba, the founder of the school, explained the burden and the impact the storm laid on them.
During last year's rain, our classes failed. The rain definitely destroyed the classes, and then the only 1 classroom was remaining, which is in a bad shape. So it's not even safe to keep children inside that room. So we have totally abandoned it. So one of my friends in the US, had our flight, and then,
Adding on the needs of the school to cope the unfortunate situation, Mr. Ba calls for support. According to Mr. Ba, the schools also with a garden which, if planted and protected, will be used for production so to provide basic needs for the school after harvest. The school, situated just 10 kilometers away from the city Banjul, in a village called Mema in Lower Nyomi district, North Bank region, is the village's only Islamic and Quran learning and memorizing center. Since its establishment, the school has transformed the literacy level of the community and beyond during its glory days before its building collapsed. For inquiry and support to the school, Al-Hassan Ba can be reached on +220 769 3075 or visit N24 in Bakau adjacent the Independence Stadium, or email us on n24rtv@gmail.com. Al-Amin Kijara, N24 News.
Away from that story, we head to the world of sports, but first in the world of tennis. Former world number one Novak Djokovic has split from his coach Marian Vajda for a second time. Serbia's Djokovic, 34, lost the number one ranking to Russian Daniil Medvedev on Monday. The Serb, a 20-time Grand Slam winner, began working with Slovakian Marian as a teenager in 2006, and the pair briefly split for 1 year in 2017. Djokovic and Marian agreed to part company at the end of a 2021 season in which the Serb won 3 Grand Slams. Having been deported from Australia on the eve of the Australian Open last month, Djokovic returned to action in Dubai last week, where he lost to Jiri Vesely in the quarterfinals. And away from tennis, we now look at the latest happenings of the internationals. Five Sudanese football players died when their boat capsized on Sunday, local media reported. The players were members of Al Milaha football team, a local team in Shendi town, 95 miles north of Khartoum. They were traveling on a boat to the west bank of the river to play against El Giref in the 3rd Division League in Al Matama town, north of the capital. The Russian-Ukraine invasion continues as African students in Ukraine got evacuated by their governments, while some got stranded in Ukraine amid fear and other reasons. Lamin Ba looked at some of the countries that have evacuated their citizens, and here's his report.
The Zimbabwe government has evacuated 118 students from Ukraine to neighboring countries, state-owned Herald website's report. The students have been relocated to Romania 28, Hungary 15, Slovakia 26 and Poland 49. They will be provided with air tickets to return home. The information minister is quoted as saying, "The embassies in Russia and Germany are felicitating the evacuation." The minister urged Zimbabwean students still in Ukraine to find their way to Poland, where they will get government assistance. Meanwhile, some 79 Kenyan students have so far left Ukraine following Russia's invasion. The government says one student has already arrived in Kenya. 74 others are in Poland, 2 are in Romania, and 2 are in Hungary. The authorities are coordinating the evacuation of many other students from various cities in Ukraine. 4 Kenyan students have expressed no interest in leaving Ukraine, citing personal reasons. African students have joined Ukrainian nationals leaving the country after Russia's invasion. There were concerns of racism at the border points, and the African Union has urged countries to respect international law and assist all those fleeing from the war. Another country that said have its people out of Ukraine is the Gambian government. Gambia, on its press
And from that, we say goodbye as it's the end of today's bulletin. Stay tuned to your favorite N24 TV.